be scared of my karma.
Oh,
I might whip it out.
Alright, that's the center van.
That's the karma police, bro.
Running center.
I cannot cycle.
Can we fight?
Yo, I can look by the way if they look.
This guy no flash.
Yeah, maybe.
I can look right now, by the way. No?
Look, look. I'm tipping, I'm tipping, I'm
Hey,
tipping.
it's good, no?
Yeah, I think it's good fun.
I'm cutting a bit.
Oh, look at Gwen, look at Gwen. I
It's
killed
pretty,
Varus.
Okay.
Almost still here. Varus, I'm killing
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
Go, Gwen, 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 Gwen. Got her.
Vega.
Go, focus, Vigo.
Yeah, I'm on tier.
More,
Okay.
more.
Mid.
I've come on 5.
Jeff, no flash.
Yeah,
Play with
I keep
Java.
going, I keep going.
I'm on 3.
I feel
Okay.
like I think I
have
should
ulti.
YOLO.
We need to try and play it slow.
I mean, I have
It's
smite,
only
by the way.
gone.
I can just try to steal.
Yep.
Okay.
We have RSQ too.
Let's tap it. I'm coming. I'm still coming.
The fight, maybe.
Yeah, just walk. Team walk. They're gonna look. Nice.
Nice.
We got it.
Leave.
Oh, yes, right.
I'm fine.
Pop ult, cut out.
We got.
You miss. Walk forward, look here.
Yeah, I'm looking. Just kill CK first.
Yeah, slowly now,
Ben.
slowly now. Behind us, from here.
Can we go forward?
Okay. Good. I speed you soon,
Yeah, jump.
Okay, this guy has nothing.
I kill him.
This guy has nothing, no flash, no
Yeah,
flash.
get him a bit after. Sal's still
Nice.
coming. Nice, really good. Wow. I thought EG was going undefeated.
I thought they were insane.
Wait,
What is this?
what happened to the storyline? Kill him. We need to
Oh,
look at this.
The early game was pretty sussy this game. The early game was so
Yeah.
bad. Mine was so bad as well.
The bottom of the game was so good.
Ooh, a little bit of spice coming out of the Team Liquid squad there at the end. Game 3 of the day, it's Jat and Chat's game of the day. As called out in waiting room by a slim margin, TL versus 100 Thieves, a rematch of the summer finals. It also sports the now back-to-back lock-in champions of Team Liquid against 100 Thieves that fell down in kind of unceremonious fashion. I think that's where a lot of our questions lie around that team. But first, let's approach this Team Liquid lineup, which has already seemed to find their stride.
Yeah, and this is the lock-in winning lineup. I know Jat has talked about this previously on Desk. I want to give more credit to TL's coaching staff in terms of the things that the hoops they had to jump through due to Core JJ's green card not being available and a few other roster substitutions they made throughout the tournament, still able to win. I thought they did a really good job of drafting for this team as well, and I was happy when they settled on this lineup because it was definitely their best performing one.
Hey, Hans Sama was happy too. He said it in the interview after the series was won, that being able to now focus, it was easier to focus and like kind of have that stability, knowing that he was going to be playing in both the semifinals and the finals, and they were playing really well consistently between both of them. So that made it a big power point for them later on in the lock-in.
Yeah, and the only weakness that TL would have, I think, is having high expectations and not having very much practice time before playing against 100 Thieves. It's the weird situation that you're put in when you win the lock-in tournament. You play 2 best-of-5s on like a Friday and a Sunday. There's also a media day obligation that they had throughout the week, so they're going to be on like 3 days of practice time, whereas 100 Thieves will have had almost 2 weeks of practicing in the dark against TL. So if I'm coming into this game, everyone's expecting TL to be world beaters, right? Like they just, with a substitute in Eyla, with no Core JJ, 3-0'd what looked to be the strongest team in the LCS, but I actually think they're coming into a difficult situation here, coming up against a hungry 100 Thieves teams who's looking to shut people up.
Yeah, 100%. And I know we'll talk about him soon enough, but like even just one of the other barriers that they had to go through, Bjergsen didn't play too well in the early portions of lock-in. And a lot of that, he talked about the loss of focus and everything when he actually was battling COVID earlier at that time, right? He made publicly on that one. But when it came to finals, he was on point and the team rallied.
And I mean, a big reason, or I'm going to call out one of the big reasons, is Bwipo. I thought Bwipo had a phenomenal tournament. And even when the team didn't seem as well coordinated or certain players were underperforming, I thought Bwipo was like so consistent. He pulled out some interesting picks, some interesting builds, and he really forced anyone going up against TL to have to consider all of these things that you honestly like don't want to have to prep for, because it's extra prep against whatever he's going to do, making topside volatile.
I initially came in with a lot of trepidation around the Team Liquid squad, thinking they would need a ton of time to gel. And then even with all the roster shuffling, they still seem to find that next gear, ultimately take the lock-in championship. Let's go ahead and flip to the other side, though, because as you said, Jat, a very hungry 100 Thieves squad here. And if you haven't checked out the replay files with Pastry Time, it's talking exactly about their first LCS win. But what that does now is create that expectation. And for them, it's about building a legacy. It's not a one and done. They want to get multiple trophies into that trophy case, and so it's got to start here on day one, make a statement.
Prove that the split win in the summer wasn't a fluke. It was the first one. It was very impressive. And then with the lock-in loss to Dignitas, people have actually, in part, forgotten about this team. I still want to see them. I've said this a lot. I don't think the team is in complete agreement with me. Continue to play the way that got you here. I want to see them play hard through FBI and huhi. I want to have them a scaling mid pick. They can leave somebody on an island until 8 minutes. I just want to see them run that 18 times in a row all the way until playoffs, and I think they'll do great.
I have an idea.
Huh?
Smite you on the top.
That
Hyper
might do
carry
it.
bot lane. Play through bot lane.
No.
It would actually be good for them.
Are you not buying what I'm
Actually, yeah,
selling?
okay.
It would be good for them.
Yeah, lock in hyper carry and just
Yeah.
someday play Smite on top.
But I'm always excited to watch this team play because
Yeah.
even if they go through patches and go through droughts, they always come back stronger. And so, and it always comes back to the fact that you have Closer, who is an insanely clutch player. In that playoffs, he was definitely the player to look at, right? Through his Viego, okay, ban of Viego. Diana, okay, we can't let him have the Diana. His Lee Sin, he just, it's just him. It's just the player. And so, if you're focusing on him, then you're not focusing on FBI and huhi in the bottom lane. And so, they just have a lot of powerful points on this map that they can use as tools to get themselves wins.
Going into this season as well, one thing I think that's really interesting about these two teams that I don't believe we've mentioned, unless I have a complete brain fart, is that this is the finals from last year. You know, like they're facing each other, and I feel like these two teams throughout last year ended up after TL kind of came out the other side with Santorin coming back to the team.
Yeah.
Ended up really pushing each other. And so now that makes this matchup also really interesting with them going up against each other on the first day of LCS.
I was going to say, I think it's a great point that having this matchup on day one, right? The two teams that accelerated and pushed the LCS last year are going to get to go at it here. And then, of course, we'll have more meetings further down the line. Right now, though, we've got some business to take care of as our defending LCS champions take the stage for the first time in 2022. Phreak, Kobe, take it away.
Thank you, Dash. Today, the new gods of North America come home to their arena, ushering in a new age of the LCS. It is our honor to welcome back the reigning LCS champions, Ssumday, Closer, Abbedagge, FBI, and huhi, your 100 Thieves!
In 100 Thieves. As the players get set up at their stations to take on Team Liquid, I do want to get some words from Papa Smithy. If you want to join me down on the stage, here you go. General Manager for 100 Thieves, what a journey it has been. First, I want to get your raw reaction. What does it mean to you to see that banner lifted and finally break into the black, white, and blue that has been up there for so long?
It's a big question. And honestly, it's been a super, super long road from transitioning to the GM side to seeing how big a project it is to get a banner on the wall against all of these top teams, and to finally put one up there to represent the boys feels good.
I know in the most recent episode of the replay files, Nadeshot even admitted to digging into you a bit with some of the early decision making. So tell me more about that experience, spending 2 years building this roster to achieve this feat.
I think you really have to be clear with your goals and really align with everybody what you're trying to build. And even though you talk about a 2-year plan, which was our original thought, the roadmap to do that changes as the seasons change, as the needs for a team and the sort of roster you want to put together changes. So we definitely had an inflection point 1 year in about what roster we wanted to field in 2021. Championship roster was the call from leadership. Championship roster is what we delivered. So it's all about matching the expectations of leadership, and I'm sure Nadeshot feels a lot better 1 year on.
How much energy do you feel you had to spend to make sure that you and everyone involved keep their eyes on that exact prize, even when others might be questioning, oh, we don't see those immediate results and we want those banners now?
I think you just have to distance yourself from what the fans see and try to say, okay, we have all this extra information, all these internal metrics, all these smart people working on it. We have confidence in the roster we put together. and you have to stick with it. And yes, there are those weeks where there's red flags coming up and there's people shouting from different directions, but stick with your process, stick with what you believe in, and then ultimately be judged for it. So if I'm judged for the losses, I get to be judged for the wins as well.
We focus so much on the players when they're on the stage, but you mentioned the decision-making of that staff and everyone that was involved in this process. How much do you value putting together a staff that can do scouting, that can be on that same page when building the overall team?
I mean, you have to dot your I's and you have to cross your T's. And how you rate players in League of Legends is not as simple as KDA, CSD. I mean, if you look at the last game, a top lane is 200 CS ahead. He's going to have great stats at the end of the split, but there's a lot more to it than that. And now over 2 years, I've kind of built out and trusted and interviewed everyone we have on staff. I know their eyes are on the same prize and they're backing up the players, and the players do the speaking on the Rift.
Did it ever get under your skin as much as it seemed to get under Nadeshot's, the hoodie org comments that would constantly come through?
In a different way. I think what I had to deal with was I was joining a part of an org where everything was successful. The hoodies were flying off the racks, the content was doing well, but the esports was struggling, and I was the face of that as League of Legends is our biggest title. And I had to come to the group meetings, and I didn't have the same thing to show for myself because we hadn't been able to achieve it. So I was actually trying to live up to the hoodie org. I was trying to live up to what they had already led, and now we just all look at each other and have that respectful smile that you're always looking for when you're a GM.
I think it is reflective of the multiple avenues of success that 100 Thieves have found over these years thus far. Obviously, a championship title was within that goal that you have set. Now that you have achieved it, you're starting off the 2022 year. What does a successful year look like to you in terms of 100 Thieves?
Honestly, if you're bringing back the same roster, you kind of have to be judged based on results. We had a lot of confidence that 6 months with these guys, we know what the end of 6 months looks like, and that means to an LCS title. Now we get a full year with this team, and we're bringing in young players like Tenacity in our academy squad. So we just want to have the best team around, and that's what we're willing to be judged upon.
Looking forward to watching that journey throughout the year. Papa Smithy, thank you so much for stopping by. It is time for us to get into Summoner's Rift soon enough, so let's send things back over to Phreak and Kobe to bring us into the cast.
Thank you very much, Gabby, and thank you, of course, Papa Smithy as well. And guess what, Kobe? It's time for Kobe and Phreak's Game of the Week!
Match of the week.
Match of the week. I'm excited. Team Liquid, the reigning lock-in champions, back-to-back, by the way. 100 Thieves, the reigning LCS champions, hoping for back-to-back, by the way. It's going to be fun.
It is. I'm incredibly excited also, specifically for the jungle matchup. They talked about it a bit on the analyst desk, but closer, really, if you're remembering back to the finals of these two teams, that's the main guy that stands out. This man absolutely demolished Team Liquid. So Santorin, it feels like he's been itching and waiting, to get a clap back, an answer here, some revenge. And especially another level added on in lock-in tournament when Core JJ was complimenting other junglers. It's kind of like you're not saying anything, but if you're complimenting other junglers, then everybody's all of a sudden, tagging Santorin and being like, oh, look, look, good. River, look all the good plays he's making. But Santorin himself, I think he's back in form. He has been on fire as well. So incredibly excited for this matchup specifically.
I mean, Core had a tweet today about how JoJo outsmited him in lock-in finals. So he's still not letting him go. Bwipo, to me, by the way, is my front runner for LCS MVP. We haven't played an official LCS game yet, but based on lock-in, Bwipo is the difference above everybody else right now for what is maybe the best team in the league. We'll see if that, of course, pans out over time. But we're seeing the mid lane bans come through, 3 off the board already. Rise, he's already practically off the screen.
What's funny for me is that we just saw in the last game, oh my God, Graves getting so far ahead because he's laning against nobody. There's no Jenna there.
Yeah.
Well, Bwipo got that far ahead with a lane opponent when he was playing Graves.
Yeah.
He's feeding on this opponent, killing all the minions and the turret plates, and he's getting that strong even facing someone up there. So definitely curious to see what 100 Thieves' plan is to deal with that top side of the map, especially because this is always the area of the map that is leveraged against 100 Thieves. Now, we don't have Jinx banned again, both Zeri and Caitlyn, which I expect to be the AD carry bans moving forward with the current state of the patch. Does leave a conspicuous Jinx Aphelios sort of switcheroo or trade, possibility that we have.
Yep.
And I feel like both of these players have had monstrous performances on both of those champions. So in that vein, they go for the support pick first.
Sure, all right, Eyla gets to grab it. Now, conspicuously, you know, you started spelling it out. Jinx, Aphelios, J-A-N, you know, looking for a Janna? You see the hover? You know I want it. You know I do.
So, you know, this is one of the teams, and, you know, if you look at the match history, Ssumday has been practicing it a lot in solo queue, but I think that goes for every top laner. You need to be accustomed to what strategies your opponents might build out, no matter how fair or unfair you think they are. So, definitely has put in the work on it. We're not going to see that quite yet. On another point on the Thresh, this specifically is Eyla's best champion. You know, their own coaching staff was, you know, talking about it when he popped off in his first game on it. You know, so glad they could get him a comfort pick. And TL continued to prioritize that for the players that have come from Academy, trying to get comfort very early on. And the Thresh is very versatile. You could pair it with, you know, Aphelios. That's taken away now, but the Jinx also quite safe with it.
Yeah, allows you to play reasonably aggressive. Honestly, Thresh, Jinx can absolutely kill. You actually have a lot of freedom to chompers almost anywhere. Okay, did the hook land? Okay, I can chompers in like 400 units. You know, the hook
Play them on
keeps
top of
in,
it.
flay them on. Cool, now they're hard rooted. They're probably outside of minions, so Zap's gonna land. We warm up the machine gun. Like, the damage output is really, really there. It's gonna be really up to how well Hunter Thieves can play around that. Obviously, Leona can tank the Zap. She can kind of get in the way and stun the Jinx, so it can be volatile, but I like the TL 2-on-2. As soon as you're off of green-red, your fights look really good, and that's a 2v2 you can kind of win. You can even poke out a little bit there, so that can look good here. We'll see what TL wants. Usually it is jungle in this spot. And with 0 jungle bans, Jarvan is the prize for Santorin.
Jarvan definitely biggest strength is a lot of the early ganks, but also Cataclysm versus carries that have no mobility. Aphelios is one of those. However, Aphelios is also one that, depending on the guns, if you see white gun, then you have to be very careful about closing that distance and getting trapped in there if you don't have teammates ready to capitalize on your engage. So it's not a kind of brain off type of playstyle. You do need to pick and choose your moments, especially if you're going against closer on Xin. Definitely able to punish some of those scenarios. Now, that means we're going to get all solo lane bans here, because both bottom lanes and jungle have been picked up. Number one solo lane that comes to mind with Team Liquid is, of course, the Zillion. But it's also about how are they going to structure their teams for the team fights here. Are we just going to have backline control mages for both of them, and then either support top lane or tank top lanes? I think that would be the route that 100 Thieves would prefer. They would not like carry-carry matchups on top side versus Bwipo. I think you definitely don't want to go head on into that. So I would expect maybe a little bit of protection bans there. On the other side, you know, Abbedagge has played very effectively on some of these more aggressive mid lane champions. LeBlanc went through the first round of bans, which is kind of rare right now, but not going to survive the second.
Yeah, Zhao more highly prized than the LeBlanc. Abbedagge has not played it yet this season, if you want to count the lock-in games as well. I'm also curious what we're going to see out of Bwipo. He has played more unique champions than 100 Thieves have played games so far this year. He has gotten a lot going on, 8 unique champions. We'll see if it's number 9 or not. Obviously, a couple of his picks are off the table, with Gwen and Graves both gone. Those are the only champs that Bwipo has played more than once. And 100 Thieves are going to leave top lane for last if the Azir is locked in here.
Yeah, I think that's definitely for the best. Get Ssumday your counter pick. Make sure that he feels comfortable. If they actually lock in this blind Azir, though, that definitely signals you want a standard team fight. I don't think you want a roaming support with this.
This, by the way, I feel like this is a very good comp alongside a Janna. If you're going to play it, you've got hard engage, you've got enough threats that you're not running any damage from top lane. This seems like the kind of comp I'd be happy to run. Zhao is not the biggest carry for it, but like Aphelios Azir will win your late game team fights, and they're worth ganking.
That's another reason why you save that to last, why red side has more power right now, because everyone's wondering if you are going to go that style or if you go for a more standard team fight setup here. And so Team Liquid have to make their call first. Means Bwipo, all right, you've got a blind for all scenarios here.
Yeah.
Are you going to try and pick something that will destroy the tower super early, or is going to have a good blind picked matchup into any sort of counter that, you know, Ssumday wants to pick? Like Renekton is still available. That also, like the LeBlanc, is usually banned out in 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, so what's your pool, right? Of champs that are good when counterpicked by an actual top laner, but also work well when you're going to AFK the lane as Janna. And literally you're away from the lane. Like Renekton is not the best tower killer. And they're like, you know what? It's Ornn. We're playing hard team fight.
I would have said too, since you see Renekton early on, does not, you know, hyper scale as far as the split pushing. So you might have ended up in a world if 100 Thieves then wanted to force, which they did not on a roaming style, and try and get a low econ Renekton going. To try to answer roamings, but they just go with the standard. Ssumday, back on Ornn, into the Renekton, be that brick wall, scale for your team, hand out your items to Abbedagge, to FBI, 100 Thieves, no strangers to getting blinged out, so Ssumday will do his part there.
Yep.
And of course, jungle attention, that means, is going to look at bottom lane possibilities. You've got Jarvan, who can make passes towards mid, but it's not really about the early 2v2s for that sort of scenario. Much later, Orianna Shockwave with Jarvan will have a pretty big impact, though, for a lot of these setups.
Yep. Well, Bwipo is on his 9th unique champion of the year as he adds Renekton to the pool. Yes, he's played it in previous years, but fun to see how many different looks he has had so far in 2022 on 100 Thieves. Already bringing home a single trophy, looking to make it 3 on the year. Hoping for a promise that, you know, Perks never could quite do for us. So looking for this one now on Bwipo's side with the super team of Team Liquid. They can't even field Core JJ, and they're still winning everything in front of them right now. So very, very scary team. And they're against the defending champions. 100 Thieves, you can see, you got the star on the jersey. They've won an LCS title. A team I still have very, very high hopes for. I think this comp is pretty solid here. That said, it is so heavily scaling focused that you expect to some degree to get walked over a bit early game.
Yeah. And so we are building in competitive integrity because you can see on stage, Team Liquid are not here due to the COVID restrictions. So we're building in the delay into the game so that everything is copacetic. And we will get right into 100 Thieves versus Team Liquid. Finals rematch. Santorin's revenge is up for grabs. Can he get it? Closer, the finals MVP on Zhao. Both of these two have early playmaking possibilities, although not crazy setup from their lanes. Definitely a decent amount, at least from the supports.
Yeah, I think bot lane can easily be volatile. I'm expecting most likely both junglers to path toward bot to influence that lane because it's low escape AD carries. Like, they can cleanse flash.
That is your volatile lane.
Yeah.
You know, especially if you're coming into it, you know, jungler mindset, you're always looking for setup in your lane. Orianna Azir, guess what? That's farm. Top side is Ornn, so that's also farm.
What I will say, though, is Eyla is actually targetable in this lane. I want to point out, FBI does not have cleanse, so we cannot cleanse out of hook, flay, chompers. That is full damage the whole time. Ignite will stick. That'll cut down the healing. FBI can be a good target. On the other side, Glacial Eyla, Thresh doesn't have good innate tankiness. Like, Leona hits W, she's immune. Like, in any early laning phase, free mythic, it's no problem. But you can kill a Thresh here with a full combo.
Yeah, you can actually hit front if you're looking at from the side of 100 Thieves. That's the big takeaway. And the other thing is that your Flay is going to have to save you for multiple things here. You want to be able to use it for the Leona, but you also have to worry about Zhao ganks. Currently, both of them positioned towards top side. So, as we said, they should be pathing down towards bottom side to secure the early battlefield. They also, as you can see, both put lane wards there in the brush, although there is a sweeper here on Leona. So, early ward placed. Leona, for huhi, goes back, gets the sweeper switch. Can't get the ward kill out of it, though.
Playing around that.
Early brush control, Phreak.
Yeah.
Hansama says, nice sweeper, rocket in the face, and he has to back off.
Now, TL own the mid brush, which is the most contentious one. Huhi, of course, going to sit down on that one and wait otherwise. Has learned Zenith Blade, has the ability to dash over on Hansama, but probably a bit of an overextension if you go for that one. So they're going to wait. Looks like the wave control will go to TL. They'll get level 2 first pretty much every time. Support's going to save their relic stacks for the second wave. And definitely as it gets thinned out, there's really no hope 100 Thieves gets 2 first. And so as long as you're playing safe around a flash play, guess what? Here comes CS1, here's 2. here's 3, be out of flash play range, right? Because right there, if you don't back up when they did, flash play hook, goodbye.
Yep.
FBI's dead, first blood.
Early brush control of the minion wave, push it in. Well done here from Team Liquid. Again, Eyla on one of his most comfortable champions. Wave control, step number 1 for this squad. Meanwhile, the opposite is true on top side. We didn't have the camera over it there for Bwipo, but Renekton should for sure get his push. Had access to the minion wave, building up his rage, trying to shove Ssumday in and force Ssumday to miss some of these CS under tower, which so far he has been successful at.
Right now, 13-9, a couple more to get, but I do believe it'll be Bwipo with a CS lead. Although, yeah, it looks like he's dropped a total of 3 CS on Ssumday's side, so not bad. Nice knock-up, not quite in turret range, but still a good trade, and sadly loses a cannon, worth 3 in itself, so well done Bwipo, only dropped 1 of his own on his push. Santorin's already here on the bottom side, skipped Krugs, is waiting around, and as bot lane is bouncing back, Closer's already here to allow 100 Thieves to play for bottom scuttle.
Yeah, you know, both junglers, when there's only one lane that's volatile, both junglers very well aware, so they both pass down and right through the lane. Closer helps them push out. This will correct the early shove from Team Liquid. Now, it does seem like, you know, with Scuttle Crab control and extra vision there too.
Is it a double crab?
Santorin is going to complete the double crab. This is much less of an issue. In preseason, the first crab was taken down. 80% of the experience has been removed. Still full gold. It still is quite nice, but he did not clear his Krugs, so you don't get your Krugs respawning on cycle. Yeah. And thus your bottom lane paths as well.
And it's worth pointing out, you still get the full like machete large monster gold, or XP I should say. So even then, like, I mean, like, obviously, like, it is weaker, right? Like, to your point, it is less.
Significantly weaker.
But yeah, it's still 150 gold that was not earned. Closer skipped Wolves on his first clear. He got them now, but yeah, we've got a pickaxe, Jarvan going back into his jungle, and it's a good early look for Santorin.
Yeah, because Closer had the early, immediate necessary move down to lane to try and bail out bottom lane, skip the extra camp, and will be Santorin retaining his CS lead.
Again, waiting down there. Of course, can always come back to Krugs. Wait long enough, Raptors to be up afterwards as well. Says, okay, still no play down here. And basically says, okay, did Closer really go back to a full clear, or is he staying around to make a play? Says, okay, I don't think he's staying around to make a play anymore. We'll go back to a full clear. And you can see now he's cycling bot to top. The way he passes was actually very interesting because now, well, I'll do Krugs, Raptors, Wolves, Gromp, and I can play for top lane. And it might be perfect timing for a level 6 Renekton dive.
Yeah, I'm very curious if they actually try and go for this, because Ssumday has done a good job of staying healthy, and he's running biscuits. So Ornn actually has a pretty good time sustaining here versus Bwipo. Bwipo constantly shoving in. I don't know if they'll be able to really soften him enough to where it's that threatening with the Jarvan Renekton combo, but does get a little trade there. Plenty of consumables in the hands of Ssumday to try and keep himself safe. And Bwipo.
Oh, he got, okay, careful. No aggro yet, but yeah, Bwipo takes a lot of damage. Obviously wants to get him low because he's clearly trying to play for this dive, expecting that Zhao still clearing top to bot. This is the way, by the way, at 6. This is the way that gets you 6. So if there's a dive, it's got to be on this wave. But Santorin is just simply killing his wolves, going to his Gromp. Looks like no dive. Not enough damage on Ssumday.
And he's trying to get value out of his demolish, you know, on turret. Try and work off some of these plates. Do something as Renekton. Yeah. You feel some pressure, right? You're getting your CS lead, want to push him in, get your demolish box, soften him up, see if you can make a play for your jungler. Does mean bottom side here, full wards through the river. Easy pathway for this, you know, support reset for huhi to move back out. They pop the blast cone, they leave the deep vision there, trying to cut off some more of these avenues, and triple control ward through the bottom river.
Santorin, heavily up in farm, by the way, has managed to cycle the jungle pretty well. Crab in the top side coming up in about 5 seconds. He has control of that one, so that is going to be Crab number 3. Another 80 gold to his pocket. You can see the CS difference, a solid 2 camp difference. Yep, Santorin's going to grab this one, no problem. Thank you very much. And now, ready to go for his blue buff. So Santorin's had very efficient pathing where he was covering Renekton for all the top side shoves. Okay, he's going for a demolish, going for a turret plate, going for a recall. Turret plate's almost down there, was able to cover for that one. And then now that that's kind of settled down, okay, well, I'll grab blue, hand that one off. No problem there as well. Orianna grabbing that right now. So Santorin, bit of pathing Nirvana. Again, keeps that solid 2 camp lead, and all of his lanes feel comfortable.
Meanwhile, the farming continues for mid lane, but Bjergsen here, neither mid laner using their teleport yet. Bjergsen doing quite well for himself with the Orianna. Has still a lot more to pick up as well, so is going to be able to, keep and even bolster this CS lead. Blue buff transferred off as well, means he can easily sustain and has gotten the early tier. So definitely a good early pickup to continue for your scaling. Again, looking towards those combinations you can see later where it is a Jarvan Shockwave Cataclysm combination with a Jinx for the late game. So Team Liquid trying to set up some of that security.
As the Krugs go down on Santorin's third clear. He's just kind of covering the bot side as they fight for control wards, and we'll see if Dragon is the play. Closer recalling off the Raptors, and it wasn't warded, so there isn't really good information here. Bwipo will grab his first turret plate, gets his, I think, second demolish of the game. And look, he's got a solid CS lead, right? Going to be about 10 up plus the plate. 300 or so gold lead earned from, you can kind of compare right now, 24 to 2800. Okay, 400 gold lead as he knocks on this wave, gets the recall stop, always able to dice away to not get the brittle proc, don't allow the extra % health auto attack damage. Ssumday will just complete his Bomby Cinder, and that's going to be wave clear.
So I want to see if they actually put priority. Yeah, the pings are immediately going down on Rift Herald. When Bwipo gets to have this extra timing window pushing up, immediately moves down to leash it himself. Anybody can do Rift Herald. It doesn't have to be the jungler. Because of the eye-popping mechanic, it doesn't do that much damage. All you have to do is dodge out on the swipe, which is insanely easy to do, as long as you have hands. So even with this ward in the back, Bwipo is able to use his top lane advantage to start up this objective, and should be able to get the priority on top side going for them. Santorin, though, him being up there with the extra ward from 100 Thieves means bottom side pressure does result in very effective use of the white gun from FBI. Gets off turret plates himself, and Closer invades onto the bottom camps and gets the respawn timers, though did not early start this dragon. Is going to take his time, fully walks through the jungle to get all of the respawn timers on those camps before they transition over.
So as the minion waves go back and forth, CS is equal in the bottom side, but once again, credit to the 2 turret plates claimed down there by Aphelios. That is a big gold lead. That is a better recall, and that is Berserker Grease plus the pickaxe picked up now as well. So FBI on a good recall. Looks like he's recalling in front of a non-cannon wave, so it is very quickly shoved in, very quickly cleared, and that means he is guaranteed to lose some CS on the recall. Might still be worth. Again, you want your items, you want to kind of cement your lead. He's up for Berserker Grease right now, but as Bwipo pushes in topside and gets another wave down, the CS pretty equal, but Bwipo has gotten out of the top lane pressure, out of the strong lane pick for Renekton, has gotten Herald, has gotten 2 plates, and that is soon to be first turret if they stand at top lane.
And you're afforded the luxury of going Cull because there's no threat from the Ornn, so also has been working away on his Cull stacks, little extra pop there, but you're trying to stack up all of these little pops in gold. Every turret plate, every tiny little bit of CS, and the Cull pop for himself as well. So that you're going to have a really strong mid game. And that's where the Renekton is going to shine over the Ornn. Ssumday is going to have access to his team fighting ultimate and can control a large space, but until you get to start handing out those items to the rest of the team too, Renekton can make a lot of plays at some of these neutral objectives. In the first couple of dragons, first Rift Herald was easily picked up as well.
Now Hansama on Kraken Slayer may have actually knocked down a turret plate before he took the recall, but at 105 CS at under 11 minutes, he's on Mythic, no boots, nothing else. I think he started Longsword, right? Longsword refillable, so turns that into Mythic, and he's ready to go on his first power spike. Obviously, the sidestep to upgraded boots for FBI is going to delay that one, and there was never that cross-map dragon play, right? It was 100 Thieves giving credit to FBI to push down turret damage, but never the dragon stack as the other side of the map play.
Yeah, 100 Thieves chose just to go for pressure off the tower and then into the jungle using a lot of time, looking for respawn timers and for vision. That means this dragon fight is going to have big consequences. Rift Herald has not been used yet. If you can win this dragon fight, not only would you get dragon, but since you would have to kill people presumably to be able to win it, then you would get to use Rift Herald afterwards as well. So Team Liquid for the first time here are moving into the river to clear out some of the vision. They don't even fully clear out the vision, and Santorin just starts it up because their bottom lane is pushing. Closer is on the way.
Yep.
This could be huge for Team Liquid, but 100 Thieves should force him and try and stop here. Huhi's level 6.
They can kill it first. Eyla in the front line, level 7, finds a hook. Is it enough? Closer, gonna put the W down. Here comes the dive, and that is a scoop backwards. Goodbye to Jinx. It's 2-4-0. 100 Thieves on the board twice.
And you see their focus on the carries. Immediate beeline onto Bjergsen and Hans Sama. Abbedagge sweeps in on the Azir for the sweep back. Huhi on the ultimate gives him the space. They get the flashes down, double kills, and Dragon number 1 is given over. But Phreak, the big win of trying to win the fight and then be able to use a Rift Herald after getting kills is denied, and then some.
The fact that he walked left off of the Leona ult meant Aphelios actually landed a root onto both, which gave the scoop the possibility.
Yeah, nice shot there from FBI over the wall. Gets the ultimate, gets the setup for Abbedagge. Top side here, response.
Slowing down Shelly a bit, still gonna get the crash, still gonna earn 2 turret plates shared across the 2 of them. The turret's still not down.
And because it was a team fight win in kills for 100 Thieves off of the Dragon fight, FBI again took 2 turret plates by hand. So those 2 Rift Herald plates were paid for in full. Early 2 in the taking process of the Rift Herald, but then 2 here down off of the Dragon fight too, kind of his reward for winning, for hitting that ultimate to snare and set up Abbedagge. That does mean we also still have so many targets to go for. No flash on Bjergsen, Hans Sama, or FBI or Abbedagge.
Alrighty, gold up and down, then up and down. A close game, a Dragon difference to be sure. But the money is on the Renekton and the Jarvan for the most part. Otherwise, the money is on Aphelios, and guess which one looks a whole lot better? Probably the money on the soon-to-be 1.5 item AD carry.
Yeah, and he's got the playmaking mythic as well with the Gale Force. You can definitely have some spicy plays with the Aphelios, whereas Konsama looking to be that teamfight pure DPS with his Kraken Slayer. Safety will be provided by Eyla. He's hoping good positioning and separation from Eyla will be enough that he doesn't need, any sort of Gale Force movement. And Jinx always likes to be pumping to take full advantage of the extra attack speed from Excite and everything like that. So max DPS there. Aphelios though, see if he can make some plays with the burst damage. FBI currently richest in the game.
Feels good. This should be the entire turret. I believe Polish will always come through, will always get the kill, and there's first turret of the game. 450 onto the Renekton. Huhi is flashless, is a mark, but he's tanky enough as the stun comes down the slow, and Eyla will drop actually a solo kill. He dodged the Leona damage entirely, but still died. Just barely living a Santorin. I believe he just survives the burn. 100 health left on him. Closer can't flash for the W. Doesn't want to sidestep, but I think if he went to the right, there could have been the E possibility. So just flashed to safety. But that is another fight. 100 Thieves. Another 300 gold going to the AD carry. That is another 300 gold again going to the AD carry as bot turret falls.
Your boy Huhi and FBI.
Yeah.
Showing why they were heralded as the best bottom lane in the LCS last year.
Still true.
Beautiful dodge from Huhi, and then the response counter engage. Well done by the bottom lane. Top side, though, again, a pain point.
Bwipo is saving his stun, waiting for the teleport to be used. Once Shockwave's in range, you can now burn it, and you know TP won't matter. Very good by Bwipo. He's played against SOAS, right? Like, you have to at a certain point realize, I have to hold the stun. TP to safety, waits for his mid laner, knows it's always gonna happen. Good kill on the top side.
Yeah, and just look at this. So, Closer, he walks back just in time. I don't believe he showed at all on that controller. He was just outside of vision. Huhi then dodges the EQ, puts pressure back onto Eyla. He gets locked up. FBI hits another ultimate. And with Closer coming down the river at the correct time there and playing around the vision, huge sweeping victory for 100 Thieves. Meanwhile, though, Ssumday paid the price on the top side, and Abba
late. Didn't quite get the timing. I mean, it's a very low cooldown to lose on Bjergsen's side. Good escape by Abbedagge. 100 Thieves have only given up 1 kill all game, and that single dragon. The bot lane is pushed in, but just swept up by FBI, going Collector second.
I will say, at least for the side of Team Liquid, since Bjergsen made the roam up there, they were able to get some money in one of the better scaling carries instead of all this money just funneling into the Renekton. So a kill onto Orianna, pretty big for them. Should allow Bjergsen on next reset to be able to finish up Mythic to try and catch up here, even though he started with the kind of delayed build there since he rushed into tier to start stacking his tier quickly so he can have a really strong 2-item power spike. I actually just love the new Seraphs that give so much ability haste. Really good for a lot of these mid laners that are kind of DPS mages can provide so much with the lower cooldowns with this champion between shielding teammates as well as putting out some carry DPS. This will be Rift Herald number 2 though. Picked up no problem.
All right, and Thieves can look for the next turret to try to bully. The first one, of course, went to Team Liquid, went mostly to Bwipo. I guess a half, but then he killed the turret, so, you know, feels like mostly to him. Bot turret killed by Bwipo as well, though the turret plates were mostly claimed by Hansama. It is still him getting this done. TL going to get their second dragon here as well. So you can see the gold is in TL's lead. I still want to caveat that it is on Renekton. That is always going to be somewhat difficult to play around eventually, because Aphelios is a bigger threat, but they've been dragon stacking. Bwipo is still going to be a menace for this game. It's not like the clock has suddenly run out for them. I don't want to give that impression over. Just want to caveat the goal lead a very little bit.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting how mid-game plays here, too. Since Herald is still in Closer's hand, FBI being hovered right now for the possible topside play. They already completely annihilated the bottom one. He got all of the plate money as well as the turret money down, so they continue to just funnel as much as they can into this Aphelios. The Team Liquid front line is going to be very health stacking heavy, so an Azir with the Leandries and an Aphelios actually will be able to fight kind of front to back comparatively, if you consider Ornn and Leona also throwing out the hard CC. So 100 Thieves actually feel pretty confident in their progression too, and it's going to come down to a lot of this setup, you know. The possibilities of a Jarvan, EQ, Shockwave, or Eyla finding a Thresh pick are there for Team Liquid. But if you control that vision, 100 Thieves are feeling pretty happy with the setup, even considering 2 dragons stacking in the favor of Team Liquid. And now it starts to get precarious when you get to the Soul Point dragon fight.
Yeah, and it's Hextech Soul. It is the winningest Dragon Soul of League of Legends. Last I checked, like, this is one that really tends to snowball into a victory. Turns out that when you Orianna Q a minion and it still slows the enemy team, that's really good at, like, getting picks out of nowhere, because you can just hit a minion and it chain lightnings out, and suddenly there's CC you never had access to that you could have never had access to. Jinx autos him. Yep, here you go. There's the chain lightning. Suddenly Jarvan's in range now. Isn't that great? There is a lot that comes out of this Soul. And of course, it's still a long way away, but the way it's been going, Team Liquid's on pace to get it before 30 minutes.
Yeah, looking good. Ssumday as well. Even though he died once early on, he can start upgrading his own item now, and we'll be able to hand out the extra upgrades to teammates upon another level. So they continue to kind of push forward. And it looks like with the early investment here of river control, they're moving a lot of their control wards and their vision investment down to this side. They want to cut off the dragon stacking even before it gets to the Soul Point. Trying to really utilize Ssumday on this Ornn for the team fighting for controlling the river. And they do have the Unleashed teleport ready for Abbedagge, who on Azir, actually, even though it is a control mage and is squishy, has a decent amount of mobility, so it's often utilized to push out stuff like topside.
So we move on to the next item. Seraph's Embrace done. Finalized in there for Bjergsen. Ready to have a big team fight happen. As Ssumday's one going to pull the trigger, goes on to Eyla. The Lantern comes in afterwards. A flash to safety from the support. Could have been jumped on by Zhao. Probably would have meant a kill as the CC would have landed into the Zhao knockout. That would have meant a death. And so it is a 5-minute cooldown gone for the Team Liquid support.
And I want to highlight, okay, this is a trick I haven't done yet, because on our screen for the telestrator, we don't have the timer, but it doesn't go up. I want to circle the entire timer.
Yeah.
But you get the point. The time that they go for this play will be plenty for both ultimates to come back up before the dragon.
Yeah.
It's so intelligent to go for a pick like that, to burn a flash on a squishy member that is also a frontliner and just expend your teleports. There is a lot more reasoning than just, hey, we see him, let's just spend our ultimates, 2 ultimates for a flash. It is all about setting up for this dragon fight. So really good forethought here from 100 Thieves. They move in, they try and get vision way early, then they blow out an important flash way early, and they'll have plenty of time for their ultimates to come back up on cooldown.
1 minute to go. And we know, yes, the Ornhorn's going to be up, the Solar Flare as well. We're going to have a climactic team fight in about 50 seconds. 2 full items on the Aphelios. Went for a more expensive build. Hansama's second item is 500 gold cheaper, so he's up in slots but lower in DPS.
Ooh, I do want to point out, in response here, we've got a stopwatch for Eyla. So all eyes are going to be on him. You know, he's a very vulnerable target as the Thresh, but he does have a stopwatch for a possible surprise play if no one's checking inventory, which all pro players do, so.
Yep. Sometimes you get surprised. Yes, you expect them to know. I have seen, though, the overextension once in a while. Sometimes mistakes happen, and we'll see what it looks like in this one. 20 seconds to the Dragon. 100 Thieves do not want to give away the third Dragon. They do not want to give away the chance at Hextech's Soul. And so they play around the bottom river. Renekton coming around the bottom side here. We do have the chance at a flank as we have Bwipo's here. And suddenly, oh, it's going to be TL owning the vision. 100 Thieves may take over mid lane, but third Dragon, really, really valuable. Bwipo in the middle of the team, gonna be stunned up. The rest of the squad is zoned out for now, but here comes the Jarvan. It's Bash Brothers, it's a shockwave possibility. Flash safety for huhi, but is it going to be enough? Over the top comes the CC out of Ornn. Closer is safe. Santorin knocked up is not. 100 Thieves win the team fight.
Really good pathing here from 100 Thieves. They get pressure through mid into the river. No DPS from Team Liquid there to back up Bwipo and Santorin. If you separate the front line from the DPS, Phreak, your front line will fall so quickly. Very good job here. 100 Thieves, just simple push out mid, then go into river. That's why this is the most repeated thing from any analyst pushing out mid into a river fight. It's because Team Liquid DPS trying to handle that wave could not close the distance there. You know, Eyla had no flash, so he didn't want to expose himself, and it means Santorin and Bwipo cut off. They give up 1 kill and 1 dragon to the side of 100 Thieves.
All right, and if you thought the scaling favored 100 Thieves, it feels like we are moving in that direction. Azir, Aphelios, Ornn. Ornn is maybe the top lane king of late game. He literally just prints you extra gold once he's level 13, 14, 15, 16. The Gale Force order being upgraded. There's more to go where that came from. Lockets on both sides just got completed. They weren't up for that fight. And even without Locket, the fact that Bjergsen, Renekton, Jarvan couldn't really threaten the 100 Thieves. Like, Shockwave hit like the squad and everyone came out okay. It's a little bit harder from here.
Yeah, if Jinx cannot hit, you are not winning that team fight. I don't care what spells you're hitting over there, but Hans Sama being sectioned off towards the mid lane from the early push from 100 Thieves, again, was just so pivotal for them. So, yeah, Bjergsen tried to go over, give some moral support there, cheering him on. Hey, sorry guys, you know, try and buy some time. Maybe they could get the lantern to save him, but not able to get the lantern because it was a really good wall headbutt from Ssumday. And not able to get in range, so good, well executed there from 100 Thieves. Ssumday, you know, Ornn, he's no stranger to Ornn. This is a strategy that 100 Thieves have used long before even all these other old Golden Guardians members joined the team. So, you know, he's definitely in a comfort zone. Level 15 now on the Ornn, already upgraded FBIs, and approaching the level 16 as well for the extra rank in the ultimates, and continued Gucci upgrades.
Yeah, but 100 Thieves really not looking to play that aggressively. They say, okay, Orianna's a mid, she can clear waves. Not even gonna bother with turret. I think he even had green gun available for FBI. He's like, nah, still not worth it, don't care. It's whatever, let you go for it. So no rush from close was out. 100 Thieves, again, playing a very, very slow-paced game. You show up for the dragon. Okay, eventually you send Ssumday over to kind of answer topside, but Bwipo gonna get another demolish, gonna jump right back out. And slowly but surely, like, he is getting stuff done on the sides of the map. He is creating pressure. That's the power of this Renekton. But the 5v5s have been tough for Team Liquid.
And the thing is, I think he hits a brick wall at some point. You can get some of these outer towers, but you can't split push that hard. Look at the minimap right now. Azir is actually drawing teleport cooldowns out of the side of Team Liquid because they don't allocate anyone over there to handle this wave. And Abbedagge also slams on turrets. The Azir, decent amount of AP now, working through those ones, so they get the teleport out of Bjergsen. By drawing him away from mid, they just open up FBI to get even richer, already the richest in the game, with an Ornn upgrade on top of it. Gold stats won't even show that. And it's so smooth here from 100 Thieves. Meanwhile, back to the Renekton hitting a wall point. Now he is level 16, but it's hard for him to split push to success. It's even more difficult to team fight as a Renekton into Azir, Ornn, zone control. You know, and the Leona as well can peel, though huhi will probably be looking for the more offensive ults towards the TL carries. So it does make it harder for Bwipo to operate in team fights. We'll see if he can do it with a good flank or something like that, but 100 Thieves are positioning themselves for a very nice 3-item spike. Aphelios, Infinity Edge comes in. This is your dream scenario, Phreak, right?
Yep.
You are the first AD carry to 3-item power spikes. You get Infinity Edge, you feel like God.
It feels really, really good. Only downside is, actually, no. I don't want to say much. I'm generally actually pretty okay with collector builds. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but basically I think it is a slightly underrated item. There's a lot of talk about the math of what it does, and turns out execute is really strong. So still a fan of this build in this order. I think it's actually totally reasonable to do against even this composition. And yeah, he's going to be an absolute teamfight beast.
All right, well, let's see it then, because 45 seconds on this dragon. Put the timer up, Phreak. I honestly don't think Team Liquid will risk much towards this second one. 100 Thieves once again push mid first, then move into the river. They already have control wards in place.
Is Bwipo going to be the big threat, though, is the question. He's been doing so much for the squad. He's got among the highest CS in the game, more than anyone else on 100 Thieves. He got them the bottom scuttle. He killed almost bot lane tier 2. And is it a cross map? Is it a Baron look for the dragon? 100 Thieves mostly on the bottom river.
I would keep my eyes on Bjergsen. He just hit death cap. TL have a 3-item carry themselves. If you can get a good delivery here.
Bwipo slices and dices away from his teleport. Knockup can be found as Santorin runs away from huhi. No major cooldowns burned. Blue trinket spots. Will they stop Santorin from knocking it down? A little bit of poke comes across. Looking maybe for the next mid-wave before they do anything else. Hansama going to heal back up off of Raptors. Nice play with the Chompers to get vision. Then knocking it down from there. Now we go ahead for the mid-wave yet again. FBI has wave clear. Would love to get to white. I believe that's going to be after blue. Gale forces back away. No kill just yet. Bwipo didn't burn the flash as the ultis come across and knock him out of the backline. Orianna, but a stopwatch for Bwipo. Not going to keep him alive. The flash will. No, it won't. Thank you, Collector. Execute. The flash scoop is flashed away. Abbedagge is flayed back in. Beautiful by Eyla. Killed by Hansama. A 1-for-1.
Even after that trade, what really matters, can they get the objective? Because that's 1-for-1. And so it looks like it will be Dragon for 100 Thieves. They get the extra chunk. Hansama is too low to go for it. No shockwave down. I mean, Bjergsen also has no threat. With that sweep attempt from Abba, he did get 3 flashes. So yes, he dies, and he looks silly because they flashed his ultimate and he goes down. But that is 3 long-lasting cooldowns. Plus they get the dragon, and I believe it was FBI who gets the shutdown gold from Bwipo. Let's take a look. This Renekton, in addition to having a hard time team fighting into, Glacial Augment Leona, also, shutdown money to FBI, courtesy of Collector there. Bjergsen and Hansama both flashing away. They didn't get locked in, but now they have no flashes for the consecutive team fight, and they are prime targets for Leona Ornn, some of the longest range engaged spells we have in the entire game.
They keep progressing forwards as Hansama goes towards some lifesteal. Might be a Ruin King angle, actually. We'll wait to see what comes out of this, as huhi will be shockwaved in, puts on the W, and just goes in a half. 1k HP still left in this one. Block it is a 90-second cooldown. You don't really want to use it on just yourself. It is a big team fight button. That is such a long cooldown that, yeah, you're often caught without it. So we look at the attempt at Baron, maybe control wards in the pit. 2 control wards in the river here as well. Thankfully, you can put down a lantern and auto with a rocket, so pretty easy for Thresh Jinx to get control wards back out. Get rid of that vision. Still some poke from Bjergsen. Ornn comes across, finds the back limit, not a whole lot more. They're able to walk away safely.
Again, no carry flashes, so the Ornn ultimate being down is a big one. Still can rely on huhi though. Leona fishing around for possible openings. He's got clearing out all these control wards around the Baron. TL, because of that exchange, will get to undo a lot of the work that 100 Thieves just fought for in the river, though.
Look again. Well, still 3 minutes on the Dragon, but now tied 2-2 in that score line. Gold remaining, actually now more than 1,000. TL actually, generally speaking, slowly grown the gold lead, it feels like. Still the lion's share, the 50 CS lead on Bwipo, is a good portion. But you can see, yeah, the graph has kind of remained. Yes, there's dragons being killed during this, ocean of blue, but TL do have the larger inventories, and now we have the attempt at a Baron rush. Yep, that is getting just burned down. Baron claimed. Gold lead nearly grabbed by 100 Thieves. Be careful, though. How strong is your front line? Jinx is free-firing. Ssumday stays alive, still at 200 health. And now we look at Bwipo on the side, but he drops. Huhi trades a stun, then it's going to be Ssumday staying alive, but FBI forced to flash away. Does get away with it for now, but does Santorin find his next engage? No ulti. A flag comes down, but nothing else to be done. It is a walk away. 100 Thieves 1 for 1 with a Baron claimed.
Crescendum melts objective.
Yeah.
So quick here from 100 Thieves. Right in over Scuttlecraft Vision, don't care. Immediately, so many of the bouncing blades, and they do get it. I think payment received, you know, very happy to, again, trade 1 for 1, but plus the objective. This one, way bigger, obviously, because it is the Baron. Eyla, though, starts it off by hooking in Ssumday. Nice little zone that you can see everybody in a semicircle burning him down. They create some space for themselves. So then when huhi does go in, there's nobody else to back him up. And it is a 1 for 1 trade. Bwipo on the top side was getting cut down by those same Crescendum blades that cut down Baron. And it is going to be Baron up here. Once again, another reward for 100 Thieves. So they have been unperturbed by these marginal gold leads. Yeah, the gold graph means something for Team Liquid all game long. But if you look at the composition that they chose and the setup here, the 100 Thieves are never sweating. So very controlled game here from 100 Thieves. Ssumday, honestly, just looks so at home on this Ornn. On the front line, even getting hooked in there and starting it out, still can provide the ultimate from range. And now with the Baron buff, 100 Thieves are back for more. 4 kills, 700 gold bounty on FBI, 4 items, and now he's got the best of both worlds. The Lord Dominix is in, he can melt anyone.
Yes, he can. It's gonna look good. The Aphelios is still doing beautifully. Has a stopwatch just in case. His summoners are down after all, so a dive could look scary, a good flash play, a Jarvan dive, a Renekton flank, all those are possibilities, so a stopwatch might give him what he needs for Azir to scoop them all back out, and it looks good again.
Speaking of that scoop, look at these flash cooldowns. Bjergsen and Hansama, both those cooldowns are right about back up. So at the very least, for Team Liquid, even though they're dealing with this Baroned up siege, they've got some capabilities on their carries, both flashes, plus the cleanse, plus Thresh reposition.
There's going to be the wave going down. This is the last one until you play for the Dragon. You can see already Closer's on the way back. All right, bot lane cleared. Next wave will give us some vision. There's not a whole lot TL can do about it, so just make sure they don't sneak up on us. And you can see, yeah, they're going to wait inside the jungle. There's a well-timed Scryer's Bloom. All right, yeah, we're nothing down there. We'll take a couple of resets, but keep in mind Abbedagge has a teleport, so we can always join if needed. Now they're just going to burn it down. 3 dragons in a row go to 100 Thieves. And in their road to defend their LCS title, they are commandingly, just confidently in control of the game over lock-in champions Team Liquid.
They certainly are. Looks like 100 Thieves invested in Hextech, and it's actually paying off pretty heavily for them. Again, no pressure as far as the timing either. Abbedagge consistently back out to the side waves. He's got his teleport ready. He's level 18 Azir, and he went 3rd item Banshee's Veil for the extra safety. So when he's tending to side lanes, once again, he doesn't have to worry about the return possibility of the jump play with the stun. Extra spell shield completely nullifies side lane Renekton, and you just get outranged, outmaneuvered, and gives full side lane control over to the Azir. So not only does Azir have great team fighting and bring you the peel with the ultimate, but also doing so much work for 100 Thieves side lane control. They can easily set it up once again for their own neutral objective.
Closer, go ahead and just take some gold and XP out of the bottom side. Not a problem at all. Just slowly but surely. I mean, unperturbed is really like the phrase that is sticking in my head.
You like that?
Because 100 Thieves, if the game is remotely close, I feel like just kind of wins at 4 items, right? Like they're champions, I think, pound for pound, except for maybe Jarvan vs. Zhao, even that one's close. I'm like, yeah, I would rather have Aphelios and Jinx at 4 items. I'd rather have Azir than Orianna at 4 items. I'd rather have Ornn than Renekton at 4 items, right? Like, hey, as long as we're chilling.
They're also bedazzled items.
They are bedazzled, right?
Everybody wants a bedazzled item.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ssumday, for handing those out. AD carry, mid, and jungle, and support. So everybody's matching bling now.
But that's kind of the point, is that like they really just kept control. They always made sure they played for their bottom side, right? FBI got solo turret, then solo turret, second Herald, solo turret FBI, just get him ahead, hit when the team fights. Guardian Angel now done. He's full build at 36 minutes, and they're ready to go for Dragon Soul in 3.
Yeah, I mean, we've had 3 very different games today, Phreak.
Yeah.
All unique snowflakes and great in their own way.
Good.
Okay, that's my stance on it. Let's take a look at the pinnacle of this game. Will crash down, 2.5 minutes on that timer. Full vision coverage by 100 Thieves. Level 18 for both their solo laners. All Ornn items have already been handed out. And they're even looking for the aggressive play ahead of time. I will say one thing though, Bwipo trying to get something done there on the Renekton. Maybe he can, get a lane pushing for themselves. Baron's in 17 seconds, and he can just push up this timer. Don't even have to wait for the soul.
So yeah, what's the play? Because Bwipo's gonna kill bot lane tier 2, 800 more gold in the inventory. It'll flip the gold lead back to Team Liquid. Like, that's definitely gonna die with Demolish. And so now, with his Hull Breaker, by the way, he is really playing side lane, trying to get stuff done over there. Turrets die faster, he's got more stats. Okay, he's still getting stuff done. At some point, you might have to answer the inhibitor. Ornn has done so. TP up for both. But which team looks better? No level 18 Renekton or no level 18 Ornn? He's already given the items over. I think the 100 Thieves still have a frontliner in huhi. As the wave gets cleared, Baron's getting sniped fast. Santorin over the wall. Santorin, does he get Vindication from Lock-in? Does he land the smite? The flag will time out, but he's still got flash if he needs it. And they just keep it aggro. 3k health right now. Bwipo having a bit of a hard time against the Ornn, who he wants to find his way in, but he's still dancing on top of wards right now. Found out, puts the shield on. When's the engage coming across? Because Closer is going to lose his Guardian Angel in a second, but no, they just delete Santorin. They win the fight on both sides of the map. FBI is unstoppable, and 100 Thieves will just not be stopped. They will not be perturbed. They will claim the Baron.
100 Thieves bounce back. Lock-in tournament, what? It's now Spring Split LCS. 100 Thieves gonna get themselves a Baron, and they'll be right back out to pushing. Honestly, I was having a fun time watching the bruisers up there in the top lane brawl. Bwipo trying to gain some ground, but it's just so hard gaining any ground versus this Ornn that has also now the Warmogs is completed. So even if you work for a good 5 minutes punching this Ornn, trying to gain some health lead, then he just backs off and regens right back to full out of combat.
Items aren't the most important thing here. We got to fight right now around the bottom river. huhi gonna run our way. They've got a slow and a knockup and a ton of damage on the Bwipo. Good night. Shut down claimed. He had so much farm. 409 CS. Indeed, he was worth bonus gold as FBI lines his pockets fruitlessly because he's already full build. His GA is ready from cooldown. This is going to be Dragon Soul. You probably want to pull it out of the pit, make it harder for Jarvan. Jinx Marker comes down. Abbedagge to scoop them away to make sure they can claim this one, and they will do so. Thanks for the soul. Thanks for the team fight. Already we've double killed 2 more of your champions as Eyla and Bjergsen go down.
And deep breaths. Honestly, this game was so calm from the 100 Thieves.
Yeah.
Easily executed here. Now you get to win with the Dragon Soul in tow as well. Increase that win rate there for the Hextech Dragon, Phreak.
Good job.
Happy to manipulate some of those stats. And 100 Thieves will be happy to forget about lock-in and be undefeated in the LCS Spring Split.
The stories of 100 Thieves' demise may be greatly exaggerated, but Team Liquid are living this death right now. Ornn not even needed. The team has already fallen. Well done, 100 Thieves. The commanding victory over Team Liquid.
Back to standard for 100 Thieves. huhi and FBI impressing in the 2v2s as jungles were coming down for the gank. huhi dodges, they go for the re-engage, they get the extra kills. They also do not go up for the early Herald. FBI works off plates by hand, slowly but surely. And you know, Ssumday on his steady Ornn in the top side, they give no ground. He hands out so much value with the items and the upgraded ultimate for the team fights. Well done here for 100 Thieves to bring it back in a very calm manner. Back in the studio, they put the banner up and they put up the dub.
Well done, well done. 100 Thieves, a well-deserved victory. picking up where they left off last year, putting Team Liquid in the dumpster. That's all I gotta say.
It's been such a long kind of rivalry, you know, because their first finals, when 100 Thieves were first in the LCS.
3-0 clap.
Yeah, it looks like 100 Thieves have a chip on their shoulder.
Yep.
trying to get a victory back here. They successfully do in the Spring Split, so there you go.
And it's exciting if 100 Thieves are the next new dynasty, because obviously, the very beginning, it was like, okay, there was a CLG TSM rivalry, and then TSM went to win, like, the first, like, 6 of 10 LCS splits, and it's like, okay, yeah, in the end, everyone fights each other and TSM wins. And then we had, like, the 4 in a row, back-to-back TL, and it's like, I wouldn't say bored of this one, but, like, we've got it, TL. You're clearly the best, and it's cool to see, like, is this now the 100 Thieves run? I'm saying
that banner over there. It looks
saying
cool.
off of one game.
Different color.
I realized that. Yeah, right. It's the first red we've had on any banner for the LCS, so that's cool to see. The black and white motif still there on everyone else's, but I'm wondering if it is enough, right? Because they clearly had it to win last time. It's the same 5 players for the most part here. They just beat the other best-looking team in Team Liquid. So, like, if this keeps up, they just are the dominant team for the year.
See, I think a lot of this too is people going really far off very limited data of small sample sizes and just jumping to like, okay, EG is the best team. They're undefeated in lock-in. Never mind. They suck. Team Liquid. They're the best team because they won. Oh, never mind. 100 Thieves are the best team because they just beat them in the LCS Spring Split.
Yeah.
What you need to take away, all of those teams are good.
All those teams are good, including Dignitas, which is coming up pretty soon. So 100 Thieves will win out in our summer finals rematch, and that means we get to speak with FBI and LeTigress in our stage Verizon post-game interview.
A familiar face that we welcome back to the stage in FBI, the bot laner for 100 Thieves. Now, for a bit of that game, it was technically a little close, even in Drake's at 30, the gold lead, not that much of a difference. But what did it feel like from your perspective? Because it never felt like you guys doubted your ability to win.
Yeah, I didn't really feel like the game was that close. I felt like after the first Dragon fight, we kind of controlled the pace very well. And I felt like we played pretty disciplined. There were some mess-ups, but I never really felt like the game was like out of our control, yeah.
Speaking of discipline, 700 bounty there on the Aphelios. You're actually a player of the game because of that performance. Pretty comfy as you return back to the stage, huh?
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely a lot of fun to be playing on the stage. I feel like playing back home for the lock-in it's pretty boring. I don't feel like the same level of adrenaline and excitement. So it's really fun to be playing back on the stage, and I hope the fans can come back.
A very different vibe for you on the stage this time around, right? 100 Thieves spending so much of last year as underdogs, now the defending champions. A lot of talk during lock-in based on performance. How much does that settle into your brain when you're going into the Spring Split?
Personally, I don't really care about any of that, how people view us coming in. I think the lock-in was very embarrassing. I think we played pretty poorly, but it was good because I felt like it was a bit of a wake-up call for us, and we worked on a lot of the issues that we had in lock-in, and I think we're a lot better now.
Because of the way that Spring Split operates, having all of these things that you're working on during lock-in, but now you really do want to accumulate as many wins as possible, does that add pressure at all when trying to go after those goals as a team for improvement?
Personally, I don't really feel too affected by it. I kind of just play each game as it comes, and I think that goes the same for most of my teammates, or probably all of my teammates, actually. And yeah, I don't know. We just play each game and see how it goes.
All right, well, FBI, happy to have you here on the ground and not flying around above us. You feel a bit more stable?
Definitely. I feel safe over here on the ground.
Happy to bring you into the safe arms of the LCS. Welcome back to the stage.
Thank you.
More for us to talk about with that game. Let's head on over to the State Farm Analyst Desk.
Thank you so much, LeTigress. It's 100 Thieves who come out on top in this rematch of the summer finals. And I think in so many ways, this is going to immediately kind of couch some of the conversations that were being had about, oh, the 100 Thieves demise, it's over, they're doomed. Okay, maybe we can take a beat here and evaluate the fact that this team came back in pretty dominant fashion.
And I want to talk about 2 different ways to play around bot lane, right? Because when we were talking about this off camera and we saw this draft, Jat was like, oh man, this is like classic 100 Thieves. This is exactly how they want to play. There's 2 ways you can play around bot right now, and this is the kind of scaling. We have the strongest front line. We have Abbedagge on this pick Azir, where he can control team fights, and then we have FBI on one of his signature champions in Aphelios. It's a little bit different than they've been playing the bot 2v2 previously, which was like, we need to absolutely have the push at all times. That's not that they didn't have the push at times. In fact, Closer did come to reset their wave after they lost the level 2. However, I think it's interesting to see them go back to this, kind of reassert themselves, and then I'm curious to see what they do next.
And I liked how FBI said like it was embarrassing to lose to Dignitas. So like they used it as motivation to come into this game, and it's one of the reasons that I actually expected them to win their opener against Team Liquid. But it, like for me, the way the complexion of this game happened, the Thresh is going to have push bottom, the Renekton is going to have push top. If this game gets to 30 minutes and it's even, you should see 100 Thieves win, which is exactly what they did. So well played by them.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, it felt like 100 Thieves recognized that their win condition was being able to get push mid after they had that lead and always be on the objective first, right? Be able to pull Team Liquid in towards them. This is a great early game fight. Just being able to see him flash over the wall, get the job done. FBI came in strong, following up off of the engage from Closer. They were just a really well-oiled machine this game.
I was gonna say, the coordination in that way is kind of what struck me, and that's glimpses of the championship-winning 100 Thieves that we had seen before.
Yeah.
But to your point, Jad, scaling into the game, it was still a decently lengthy one, but it didn't feel ever like they were too much on the back foot.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you look at the way TL played, they also had a really strong understanding of how they wanted to play. I think they had good side wave control. We were looking at the CS and we were like, where is this coming from? And a lot of it was just how they're controlling side waves, how they're catching side waves. You know, Bwipo on his hole breaker business.
He's still going for it.
He knows he's going to be in a side lane.
Yeah, and I mean, what reminded me of Game 2 in Dignitas, since it was referenced in Lock-In, right? It felt like the game was doomed after the Rift Herald. There was the Rift Herald catastrophe that happened. While in this game, I thought they had a really good read, where they just said, okay, we have Aphelios. We'll just play towards getting plates early, so then Aphelios would get going, and we'd just play around him consistently. They did this. This was their bread and butter during the split. And so even this game, you could see blips here and there, and the goal lead sure being at times in favor of Team Liquid. Like, compositionally speaking, 100 Thieves were comfortable. Because how is Renekton going to play the game? If he plays on sides, well, he's not going to win through sides, right? He tried at some point because team fights were going to be hard. And if he tried to play through team fights, Azir, ulti is going to be obnoxious, and then Aphelios, it was just going to rip him apart.
Well, we started talking about range advantage, right?
Yes,
for 100 Thieves, with that Azir, with that Aphelios, especially if he has the right gun. So many times around objectives like Baron, you're seeing him with the green, with the green sniper. Boom! You can't close that gap on him.
Exactly, across the screen.
That's it right there. Sound effects provided by Raz. But it was Abbedagge who ultimately delivered the win for the squad and the Grubhub dub here on the Azir. Always nice to see the, what is it, Raz?
Scoop-de-whoop, the scoop-de-whoop.
He went for it earlier and got double flashed, but that was not to happen this time.
And this sets up perfectly for that Aphelios ult that's about to come through from FBI. We were talking
Flash
about...
ult.
Yep, there we go. Whew.
Beautiful. And I mean, he's been looking for it all game, as you mentioned, being able to find it here, where honestly, Team Liquid were playing at a good distance, not at that moment.
Well, congrats to Abbedagge on that one, and we're excited to have Grubhub back again as an official delivery partner of the LCS and a sponsor of Delivering the Win. Now, this weekend, use the code IGNITE to receive an exclusive Grubhub Hextech chest and key on all orders over $15. And you're entered to win a real-life Hextech chest filled with Grubhub prizes. And I, as a matter of fact, have been provided with one of those chests of my very own. And I am going to be delivering it to the person who called for this Grubhub dub. But there seems to be a little bit of an argument about which one of you two it ultimately was during the game. So sorry, Jack, you're out of the running. You were not the one who picked the Abbedagge play.
My mic pack was literally unplugged.
Well,
and I screamed Grubhub delivered the win.
You gotta be ready in the moment.
Hey, Jack, I understand. I know that you're new.
You were there.
I know you're new to broadcasting, but if the mic's not on, people can't hear you, and it's unverifiable. So it's a lesson. It's a lesson to be learned by a broadcast amateur. I get
record
it.
Every conversation.
And so instead,
I want to hear Emily's argument on why she...
Yeah, do you deserve this? Was it you?
I think I do.
Okay, that's all I needed to hear. All right, here you go. Feel free to open up. I have no idea what's in here.
Is it a snake?
What do we got? What kind of prizes?
Well, Dash is not in there.
Ooh.
Okay, mouse.
Yeah, a mouse.
Nice.
Okay,
Sting code.
No shot.
I feel like I should be showing these to the camera.
Yeah.
It's a live
This is, yeah, we
Get ready for your QVC career.
We never need to do an unboxing with Emily since I'm
There's like a
already
big
terrible
thing
at
in
it.
the bottom.
Ooh, is that a mouse pad right there?
Yeah.
Rip out all that
Nice.
Oh, it's just paper.
Okay.
Here you go, Jet.
And it's a nice box.
And it is a
This
beautiful
box actually is really cool.
That's what I want.
It still smells a little bit of spray paint, but it is
Fair enough.
substantial.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Well, pretty sweet. You get to take all that home.
Nice.
Nice day at work. All right, thank you so much, Grubhub, for that wonderful delivery and being a great partner of
Can
the
I say
LCS.
one more thing about the game?
Okay, well, if you say it as we go.
It's gonna be quick. Winning lock-in makes the first game really hard because of expectation and limited practice time.
Boom.
Don't overreact to TL's loss.
Okay, there you have it. It's time to step away. On the other side, LS and the full Cloud9 squad take on Golden Guardians in their 2022 debut. We'll see you there.
Closer gonna put the W down. Here comes the dive, and that is a scoop backwards. Goodbye to Jinx. It's 2-4-0. Ulti's come across and knock him onto the backline. Orianna, but a stopwatch for Bwipo. Not gonna keep him alive. A flash will. No, it won't. Thank you, Collector. Execute. The flash scoop is flashed away. Abbedagge's flayed back in. Beautiful by Eyla. When's the engage coming across? Because Closer is gonna lose his Guardian Angel in a second, but no, they just delete Santorin. They win the fight on both sides of the map. FBI is unstoppable, and 100 Thieves will just not be stopped. They will not be perturbed. They will claim the Baron.
This week, we're teleporting into the assist of the day, presented by State Farm. In Game 3 of the lock-in tournament, Evil Geniuses started to take control of mid-game against Team Liquid. With Liquid's backs against the wall, Bwipo stepped up and teleported mid to initiate headfirst into Evil Geniuses. Even with Bwipo going down, the extended fight resulted in Team Liquid securing the Drake and a triple kill for Han Sama.
Nowhere to go. This is the sort of pride that gets you in those big moments, allows you to take down giants.